Ciao Matteo. Hello
Ciao
everyone.
Luca! Hi everyone and welcome back.
Welcome back. And today we are talking about VFS because it's such a hot topic in any sort of form that I thought it was the right time to banter on it. I think
Absolutely, Luca.
the time has come.
Yes, let's talk a little bit. Virtual file system. What is it? Why it's needed? Okay. Why it needs to be in Node Core? Okay. Should I start, or you want to say anything before we go?
No, I think we should start with first of all defining what a virtual file system is before people don't know what it is.
Okay, so in Node.js you have an FS module, okay, and you need to you use it to interact with the file system, Windows, Linux, Mac, and so on and so forth. It abstracts it all away. Right. Now, few catch with that, okay? There is also a module loading system in Node, okay? Require and import. Actually, two module loadings. Require and import, okay?
Yeah.
Really critical, okay? This is a long story. If you want, we can do a banter on that. That would be really.
I would rather do a banter on my brand new scraper than module loading.
Come on, Luca. Okay, so there is that. Okay, so the virtual file system, okay, is an abstraction that can be that I'm trying to add to Node.js, okay, that allow you to essentially mount a directory, okay, and that would be available using FS, okay. In a lot of ways is via FS and the module loading system. So you could technically like write a file only in memory and have Node.js itself be able to load it from that position without having to do.
Just to simplify for the ancient people maybe like me, the virtual file system is the same model that your VMware or virtual machine uses to load their file system. You give a portion of an existing file system and they virtually call it their file system where they call functions.
It's let me say in some other way. You can see that as, if you've used Linux before, as Fuse. Fuse implements something like that, okay? And so on. It's also like the base concept of Linux. You could mount a remote file system as local, okay?
Yeah.
It's a concept that is as old as Unix, essentially. So it's also very powerful. Now, why is that needed? Why is that needed in the Node.js ecosystem? Okay. The first thing.
Why do we need it outside of Node? Let's take a step out of Node. Why do we need a virtual file system in 2026?
Oh, okay. Why do we need?
Because Node, yeah, but I can build. You just told me I can make it in Linux. So.
Yeah, well, not exactly. Okay, specifically because for a few different reasons. Okay, the first one is we want, in general, okay, a way to bundle, okay, all our applications in an easy way, okay, in a single executable. This has been popularized by a lot of tools, okay. And in order to do that, you need to be able to unpack some of the data that is part of this single binary, extract them, and work on that, okay? Now, because of how Node.js work, okay, doing this is tricky if you are not using a virtual file system, okay? Because a lot of tools are basing themselves on directories and folders, and the full module resolution of Node.js itself is based on the file system. Yeah. So you need you need a file, like all of it is based on the freaking file system. So you need to deal with the file system in some form, okay?
Okay.
So there is that, okay, which is pretty solid from my point of view, okay? Now, this is the first thing. This is called single executable applications, and Node.js is a critical, and this is a critical use case for this. Okay.
Yeah.
And you really want your Node.js environment to do that. Okay. To use this thing. Okay. Now it also shipping this. Okay. Also will also enable us a lot of other distribution models. Okay. For example, it will allow us to, easily load our modules from zip files, okay, and load them, or SQLite files, okay, or whatever we want, okay. It enables this naturally without having to do much, okay. This is opens up a lot of possibilities in the ecosystem as well, okay. And this was originally pioneered by Yarn and a few other tools like this, okay, that tinker with the path resolutions and the loading and so on and so forth, which can actually make, like, it can help foster the innovation of the ecosystem, okay. And there's been a lot of questions from the ecosystem to do this in this regard, okay. Last but not least, okay, these new agents word, okay, has been asking for ways to intercept or fake some file system calls, okay. So, and this is can help that too, okay. So
when you say, sorry, Matteo, when you say that, you mean that is because clearly you want to limit the scope of those agents? Or?
Yes, because you want essentially to limit the scope of those agents.
So you don't want to give your agents access to your full hard drive?
Pretty much, yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought that with OpenClaw I should do it, because that's what I did.
Well, that's what people do with OpenClaw.
No, I was kidding. Clearly, I didn't do it.
Are you sure you didn't? Come on,
100%, because I use a VM for that. Pun intended. And okay, so, but how does that differ from kind of like mounting a limited file system on? I mean, can I do the same, just like having a mount and loading with a fast mount?
You can't, okay, in the sense of that you need a high level of trust and permission to be able to do that at the operating system layer. So it will be inconvenient, especially for application distributions and CLI distributions.
Okay, because I would need to kind of like have as a between quotes requirement to actually give me the mount.
Yes, essentially.
Okay.
You will need to.
Okay.
So yeah, essentially. Also, I challenge you on doing that on Windows.
Okay, because clearly the FS module, this abstraction is cross-compatible.
Yes.
Okay.
It was built to be cross.
But Windows, I can actually do it with in the same way, right? It's still loading a mount on.
You could. I'm not saying this is not possible. I'm saying it's useful for Node.js developers to be able to do this.
Yeah, so it basically gives the userland access, basically.
Yes.
Okay. And that sounds actually cool. And
a lot of people are excited for this, okay, for good reasons.
Yeah, where is the excitement?
Well, the excitement come from being able to do something that was not done before, okay? So there are a lot of modules in the ecosystem that can, monkey patch all FS module to do this, okay?
Okay.
Which is a gargantuan amount of work, but is absolutely doable. You can go and monkey patch all single modules. However, even if you do that, you will miss some of the internal calls, okay, which you can't monkey patch from the outside. So your implementation will never be complete, okay? there was this exchange between the team with the team at Effect, okay, that we were chatting, and they basically said, well, we have had this in effect for a long time. And the answer said, one of the users said, no, we haven't. Okay, this is lower level. It enables these use cases that currently we cannot support, which they want to. So it's a great win.
So what kind of use cases, for example, does this thing enable? Like I'm trying to kind of like understand. Sorry, I'm trying to convey the understanding to everyone on why this is such a pivotal kind of like feature for JavaScript and for Node.
So the key use case, okay, is to be able to create virtual JavaScript files, JavaScript programs that are not part of the file system and are not written in the file system, okay, but they're still loaded at runtime. They can be part of a bundle that is moved, okay? They can be made aware, traveled, they can be put there via zip file, doesn't matter, okay? And it's all work. To be clear, I think Electron has a similar component called Azar, I think, okay? That they can use to essentially load application from these Azar bundles, and I think is how they move the plugins. I don't know. Like I haven't discussed this too much further, but
Gotcha.
There is prior art in the fact that this is actually needed. So
there's prior art, okay, and but so exactly. Let's maybe go deeper in how this thing works and how it is implemented, and then I think all these use cases will come out like pretty naturally. So how does it work? Like you basically took FS and mount and give them a random path. How does it work?
Oh, you create a new VFS instance. You need to pass in a provider. Can be a memory provider by default, but you can create one based on SQLite, based on what you want.
I can create a file system in memory, or I can create a file system in
memory,
whatever I want.
In memory. This is purely memory based, or you can be baked by SQLite, but you need to write that yourself. I wrote one as an adapter to validate the pattern. It's totally doable. You could technically mount a remote S3, okay, in this way. No problem, no big deal, okay?
Okay, that's actually cool.
This was one of the use case that was thought.
Okay, and use FS as
and then use the FS module to interact with it. Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay. But does it also implement security?
Security is
file permission, basically.
Sorry. Security, there is no specific file permissions in the default stack, okay? However, there is, all of these is baked by the real FS module, okay? Which means that underneath, if he needs to access to a file on disk, it's going to pass to the Node.js permission system, which can be limited, okay?
But can I chmod or chown a file in the virtual file?
There is no, that is not supported at the minute. Like it makes no much sense, okay? Because all of this is owned by a single user, okay?
Is owned by a single user,
which is in memory, essentially.
Can I call exec?
You can't.
Okay, so I cannot change the user.
Yes, this is what I'm saying. You can't, like, this is local to the current node process. So.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, it clearly doesn't make any sense. Okay, so basically it's kind of cool because I could potentially do a require of something that I just dynamically created in memory. Basically, I could create ephemeral modules that I require in my program,
yes,
without having to restart the process or write them on disk, in a nutshell. And from a security standpoint, do you see any kind of like, injection?
So 2 points, okay? First of all, it does not lower the security posture of Node.js, okay?
Okay.
Because it does not lower it because it's essentially you will need to run untrusted code to be able to start this up.
So the premise is exactly the same.
No, the premise is you need to run code that is doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to have an eval or something like that in new function that is being hacked. Okay. To do like, so at that point, you know, an attacker that can do stuff can totally do that and more. Okay. So this is
100%.
literally no big deal. It needs to be said though that you can actually do like the amount of code needed for intercepting all FS calls, okay, move from being a lot to being a few. So there is that to be said. Okay.
Okay, and so basically the security is completely maintained and safeguarded by, sorry, by Node itself. Basically, it's the same complete security guard, security model. Nothing changes, basically.
Nothing changes. Yeah, well, nothing that was not possible before changes.
Okay, and but so is because you mentioned right now that you build a provider, right? And we kind of like spoke earlier about Mount, so MNT and so on. But explain me a little bit what you mean with that provider. How it's implemented? How can people implement it? Is a public. I mean, it's public API, I guess. Anybody can write their own provider. So how does that work? How does that kind of like? How do you envision actually this ecosystem to grow on top of FS?
So first of all, I expect to see multiple providers come up. I expect an S3 provider to come up. I expect
inside of Node Core or
no
as a
outside
module,
outside as a module. Okay. I expect a zip provider, okay, to come up. Actually, that will be super cool. Okay, technically, okay, you could essentially load your dependencies from zip files or equivalent from disk without unpacking them. Okay.
Yeah, because I could do the unpacking memory, right?
I can do the unpacking in memory. Okay. Does it make sense? I don't know. Okay.
It looks like a great task for a cloud code to do.
It is.
But I need to write the prompt, so it's not that the cloud code starts on its own to do it. I need to.
It's not open cloud that starts on its own.
No. It's important to say that I need to tell him what to do, or else he doesn't know what to do.
I upgraded my open cloud to Minimax M2.7 today.
Yeah, you didn't really have anything better to do, right, for this company, and so you wrote that provider. Okay, but apart from that,
I told it to do it itself.
So you didn't do it?
No, it did it by itself.
Okay.
I only read the tweet, and I thought update yourself, and that.
Okay. No, because there's a lot of discussion, on the actor in those kind of situation, but we need to keep it for another banter, probably.
Totally another banter.
But and how do the mounts and overlays work then in the virtual file system?
So you can do two things. Okay, you can just instantiate a VFS instance, and that is its own isolated thing. Okay, it implements both the callback and promise version of all FS methods. Okay, so it's a gazillion amount of calls. Okay, the provider interface though is minimal and built on top of what is the minimal thing that needed for providers.
Wow. Okay.
So there has been a lot of work being done to simplify it. So in other terms, we have a concept of a virtual file descriptor that is being opened.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that you can read and write from.
Oh, wow. That's actually interesting.
So, and it implements all the bits needed. Okay, so the higher methods are only built up around the primitives. Okay,
yeah.
So it's a little bit by the book. We are using the 10,000 marks, I think, for file descriptor, which would be too high for the operating system to use. So we got the 10,000 marks, 10,000 line for this. Okay.
And What kind of like...
We have virtual file. We have the virtual file. We have the virtual directory. Is
we are in a virtual dimension.
It's in a virtual dimension. So we have the streams, okay, implementation that reads from and write from the file descriptor.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, I told you, it's a massive PR. Like, it's a lot of work. Like, it was not.
I mean, I cannot imagine how crampy were your hands.
Very crampy, Luca. Very crampy. It has been, to be honest, it's been took 120, I think, commits and a lot of reviews from all the Node.js ecosystem to get to this far point. So,
yeah,
pretty solid.
I can't imagine the kinetic energy created by all this.
Look, it was probably a few some trees. So
that's good. And so, but back to the real use case and this world that we are in 2026.
Yeah.
Right. So you said single executable. We can load kind of like hot generated modules in the program without restart. We mentioned AI agent, but let's give a little bit of examples to everyone, Theo. Like, why for agent is so important to have a virtual file system or a virtual bash?
So the fundamental problem here is the concept of there's two problems here. Okay, there is the problem of it's technically the same problem. Is the managing of state. Okay, an agent has to have as state. Okay, that's the key part of being an agent. Okay, you have some local state. Okay, that is you're running on things. Okay, this makes deploying them, managing them super hard. By the way. Okay, so it's a very hard problem. We are not used, like we built the last, I don't know, 2 decades of application with one mantra: build stateless applications.
The Tao of microservices.
Even bigger than, like, you know, from the like literally the full movement for like 20 years plus, it has been build stateless applications. Okay, you know, we invented we invented the frigging cookie, HTTP cookie, so that HTTP could be stateless. Okay, so we could inject the cookie in to get the state. Okay, now look, consider it. Okay, the cookie. Okay,
I mean,
it's, you know, because that's what it is, right? The cookie is your state. Okay, so you put the cookie in and you get a cookie back. Oh, okay, and then it's your state.
No, usually when I could put the cookie in, it doesn't come back.
Oh, really? Come on, no, that's bad. Okay, there. You know, or you need to have an endless source of cookies for
that's why yesterday I had to bake a 60 pasta frolla cookies.
So anyway, that's the point that I was trying to make, is managing state. Okay, so when you are managing state, okay, you need to be able to read and you need to be able to pack and move it around. Okay, and if you're building an agent system, you might want your agent system to be able to read and write some JavaScript, read and write files. Okay, yeah. But you also want to be able, you want to expose a file system API to the agent. Okay,
yeah.
But you might also want to, you know, easily back that thing up and move it around, and not have to rely on Fuse or other things to do that packing. Okay, you might just want to take, oh, this is baked by a SQLite database, and then move it around super easily. Okay, this enables a lot of cases. There has been a few experiments regarding doing like file system baked by SQLite for agents. Okay. And having that inside Node, I think it's going to be a very big area of experimentation. Okay.
Cool. And I'm sorry that actually the Tao is I need to dismiss it, because I was reading the Tao every night before going to sleep. Interesting. So in this world of agents, what this virtual file system will enable is basically this read and write of state in a nutshell, and then to confine the execution, that the operation that these agents can do in a nutshell. So you're basically creating some sort of jail for the file system operations that they can do. Cool. But I mean, I have a question because, you know, we published our own also VFS.
Literally, in the span of 5 tweets, I see 5 different VFS implementation popping up on Twitter right now. Let's see.
All written by hand. We just want to
all of them,
certify
yeah.
these people that have been sweating and cramping their fingers to type implementation of VFS. Because it's such a great use of human intelligence to kind of like copy commands. But my kind of like my kind of like question is, you said that there is a big part that is in Node, and then we spoke about the userland kind of like effect. So, but what is the demarcation line between the Node runtime?
Okay, so the fundamental problem is all of these could be partially implemented in userland, okay, by doing a lot of monkey patching. However, this is very brittle. Okay.
Yeah.
It's useful to test the API to verify mixed things. Okay. But not so good. There are also some edge cases related to module loading that cannot be implemented in this way.
Okay.
Okay. So you need really to have it to plug it inside Node Core to do those things. Okay. Because essentially, like what we have done is add some ways to intercept some C++ calls. Okay. That if it's targeting one of those VFS files, you need to pass through something else instead of doing the C++.
Okay, gotcha. So there are the responsibility. If it was only userland, it would be very, very kind of like you said, brittle, because clearly there's a lot of C++ involved, and like you said, responsibility switching also between understanding who is responsible of handling that file, that permission, and so on and so forth. So it's not, what you are basically saying is that the scope is not only of userland, is deeply into the core C++ functionalities that Node has to make it work as it should.
Yeah.
That's cool. And Theo, listen, I have a last question because I cannot imagine your finger being so tired. So, but I was wondering, no, I mean, that's why we keep it a little bit short, because they need to relax with some ice. But what's the future of this VFS? Like, I honestly, since the first time you kind of like made the PR, there was a lot of kind of like traction coming, especially from our dear friends at Vercel. Malte was super enthusiastic. He went on and built his bash kind of like overlay. But it seems that VFS we are just at the beginning of its potential and what it can do. So in your mind, where do you see this VFS functionality evolve, and what would be the impact of VFS in modern applications?
Well, so far, to be honest, we need to ship. So I think we needed this stack, like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Okay. And we need it to ship now. Okay.
Oh,
so
it's not shipped yet.
No, it's not.
Okay, gotcha. I thought it was already released, because it's such a no-brainer to kind of like.
Well, yeah, I have like, to be honest, this is a long story for another time, Luca. Another story for another banter.
We should have guessed for that band.
Yeah.
But so you basically say that the first step is going to be to release it officially in Node, and then where do you see the evolution? If you can
well, the fundamental point is this is a monstrous amount of work. Okay. That essentially is a reimplementation of all the module in FS and FS.promise. Okay.
Oh.
So it's a lot of code.
Okay? Aren't also these modules from the ancient Greek times of Node.js?
Yeah. Well, the FS.promise, no. Promise is no, but it's still old stuff. Okay. So anyway, it's a lot of work. Okay. And it's a lot of APIs. So the TLDR, this is going to be full of bugs. So you should be testing it, reporting the bugs, and we'll fix the bugs. But please do.
But question, is the FS the module that was initially created by Ryan, or
this drove from some ancient roots. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, it's there's some it's like this old precious paintings that we keep in our collection. So it's You know, I love fountain pens. So that's like a 1930 fountain pens from Daniel. No, it's been super interesting, Theo. I'm looking forward to see what is going to happen on VFS. But I just want to say one thing. This was just the appetizer of what is possible and what we're going to release soon. So you should all stay tuned, listen to this banter, put it on your Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube while you're traveling, because something cool is coming very soon.
Yay.
Right, Theo?
Yes.
Super. Thanks, Theo. Let's chat next week and
Bye, folks. Bye.
Ciao.